Hey there, wild ones. Welcome back to the 13 Nights of Samhain, and we're on our 12th prompt. I can't believe it's already October 30th. This challenge and this time has just been flying by. So if you don't know what the 13 Nights of Samhain is, it's a little tag challenge that I started for witchy and pagan YouTubers, and if you haven't already, go on over, check out everyone's channel. There's a full dedicated playlist containing everyone's videos. I'll link it in my description here, as well as you can find it over on my channel. So however you want to go and find that, check everyone out. It's a binge-worthy playlist with some amazing magical, witchy, magical, and pagan content creators who have jumped in on this. I'm just blown away and humbled at how many wanted to take part in this. I didn't know what to expect, and it's been an amazing turnout. So many amazing voices in this community. Some of them you might know and love, and others might be a new discovery for you. And some folks started their channels through this tag. I know Blue Avalon, she started her channel through this tag. And Blue, it has been amazing to watch your channel start and to see your responses to these prompts, as well as Amanda. Amanda is also a new channel who started through these prompts, as well as I know she didn't start through this, but Jodie McDowell, she also, she's a new channel who's taking part. And I wanted to just take a moment to shout out the newer voices to this community. So go on over, check them out, and check out everyone else who's participating. There's so many. I would be here for a while listing off everyone. So just check it out for yourself if you haven't already. I hope that you've been enjoying the 13 Nights of Samhain. I not only have been enjoying making videos for this, but watching everyone's and seeing all the different perspectives. It's been so amazing. Maybe we'll do this again next year. Let me know. Do you want to do this again? I know 13 prompts is a lot, so share your thoughts in the comments. Today's prompt for October 30th, day 12, is to reflect on your harvest. What lessons, experiences, or skills have you reaped? So I don't have the prompt in front of me, that's just what I remember off the top of my head. So that's what everyone's sharing about today, and I have a lot to share with you. I hope this doesn't get too rambly. I'll put timestamps in the description. That way, if you like, you can skip to whatever part works best for you. So I thought it would be fun to come outside, out on my back porch here, and do it here at night. Nighttime is like my reflection time. It's very much a time not just for me to unwind, but for introspection, to contemplate, to think. I just feel so at ease and so at peace at night. I can be alone with myself and my thoughts. And I just wanted to bring you along for the vibe. Like, why not? Why not do it outside? I'm probably gonna get bitten up by mosquitoes. They really like me for some reason, but that's okay. It's totally worth it. So there's a lot that I'm gonna unpack here today, so feel free to treat this like a podcast. You can listen while you're doing your own thing, or just watch, I guess, however you want to go about that. So I guess this is kind of, sorry if there's barking in the background. The girls are having fun playing inside. But I'm going to split this up into little categories. So we have like my magical practice, what I've reaped and how I've grown there, and also the lessons and experiences from my everyday mundane life, what I learned just through living life. One of the biggest lessons that I learned, and this kind of applies to both my mundane and magical practice, is that things don't have to be perfect. You know, I am a perfectionist. I like for things to be perfect. I like for things to go right without any mishaps. I like, you know, just when things are right the first time. And, you know, perfect does not exist. That's like chasing something completely invisible. Like, nothing is perfect. And I've learned to embrace the beauty that is imperfection, because there's many lessons there to be learned. I have a prime example for you, and that's this tag, actually. So you might have noticed that I wasn't able to do some of the days. I plan on redoing them, so keep your eye out for that, the days that I missed. But I had technological problems. First, the lens to my camera busted. We had to rush out to Best Buy to grab a lens, and it was not the same exact lens that I was using. It's a close-up lens, and like, my heart shattered. But then again, it's okay, because I was able to also order the same exact lens that I had from Amazon, and that took a week to get here. So some of my videos, I had to use that close-up lens, and I originally was not happy about it. I wasn't having it. It was hard to work with. But like, it ended up working out, because now I have a lens that I just didn't have before. And, you know, my idea of perfect wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and that's okay. You know, I got some amazing shots with that close-up lens that I wouldn't have had with the farther away one, and that was awesome. I guess it worked out really well. And I really had to confront that shadow self, of that part of my shadow self that loves perfectionism, and if things don't go her way, she has a meltdown. But it's okay, and it ended up working out. And in my practice, this is a long learned lesson, something I learned along the way from when I was a beginner witch till now. I used to want like that perfect ritual, right? Like, I had to do that prosperity spell on a waxing moon on a Thursday, you know, at the beginning of the month or whatever. And is that realistic? No. In my head, it was like the perfect scenario for a prosperity spell, but it was really not practical. It wasn't sustainable or manageable. And like, throughout the years, I learned, like, you know, it's okay to do a prosperity spell on the wind. It doesn't have to be that perfect time, the perfect day, the perfect moon phase. Like, my videos don't have to be perfect too. I'm sure you heard the dogs fighting over a toy in the background. What I noticed is, through my mundane life and through my practice, you know, perfectionism is self-sabotage. Like, sure, it's great to have that perfect spell and that perfect scenario, you know, the perfect video even, right? But life is gonna life. Imperfections, things are gonna happen. My videos aren't perfect. Like, I'm sure the lighting is not perfect, right? We're going with the string lights that are outside, the candles that are in front of me. I'm sure the lighting situation isn't exactly ideal, but you know what? It is what it is. It's better to do something that you want to do that's not perfect than to not do it at all, you know, because of the limitations that perfectionism has on us, that grip that it can squeeze tighter and tighter and tighter. And then, like, if you don't do it at all, are you going to regret it? I definitely have. You know, there were so many things I wanted to share here or do in my practice that I let perfectionism get its ugly claws around me, and I wasn't able to do it. And I wish I did. So there you go. Perfectionism is a beast, but learning how to navigate it, you know, learning how to not let it win is the key. That's what I learned. That's one of the big things that I learned this year. A really big skill that I've been trying to work on this year is public speaking. So I have social anxiety and I worry about how I'm perceived, especially on YouTube. Like, I get stage fright, I freeze up, my words don't flow the way I want them to because I lose track of what I'm saying. Because the way my social anxiety works, I will just completely blank out or have like verbal paralysis and I won't have the words that I want to say. Like, I'm the kind of person that likes to think about what I say before I say it. I think I'm so nervous because, and I'm opening up here, I'm a legally blind witch, if you don't know. I have limited eyesight. And I worry about judgment. I worry about what people are going to think of me because I do things a little bit differently. I don't do things the way that normal sighted people do things. And my eyes might not be looking directly at the camera. They might be twitching a little bit. They kind of like dance back and forth. That's what I call it. They're dancing. But it's nystagmus. It's an eye condition that's related to my blindness. So I'm not gonna let my eyesight issues hold me back from doing what I want to do. And I'm still struggling with the anxiety, probably related to my eyesight, but I'm gonna push past it. I'm not gonna let my anxiety win. Not only did I start this channel to make connections with other like-minded people, but I started this channel to help to get over my social anxiety. And I've been doing this for 6 years, and it's a very, very slow improvement. I'm definitely noticing it getting better, but I kind of view it as the butterfly in the cocoon. You might be really uncomfortable in that chrysalis, but when you come out, it's so gonna be worth it because you're gonna have these beautiful wings, you're gonna shimmer, you're gonna flutter, and you're gonna be happy that you went through that uncomfortable bit to get to the amazing parts. That's kind of how I view it. That's kind of where I'm at with it. And that's what I've learned, not just this year, but over the years. Another lesson that I learned this year that can be applied to everyday mundane life and magical practice is it's okay to make mistakes. It's natural. They're a part of life. They happen. You know, sometimes we fail, but is it a failure, or did we learn what not to do for next time, or a way that something didn't work? You know, skills are learned over time. So the next lesson I learned is really deep. I may or may not cry, so I apologize. But this lesson was learned through my corgi Luna. So Luna passed away this year on January 5th from lymphoma, which is a cancer of the lymph nodes. And oh, this is gonna be heavy. She loved life. She was just the most happy-go-lucky, fun-loving little soul that I ever met, that I ever had the pleasure of knowing and taking care of. And what I learned was to live every day like it's your last day. You know, just live happily, live fully, boldly, and proudly. That's how Luna lived. You know, even though she was in pain and uncomfortable and suffering with her cancer, that didn't stop her. She was just so joyful and loved playing, loved doing her thing, loved doing what the Luna do. And that's what I learned from her. You know, you never know when you're not going to be here anymore. So enjoy life while you have it. And that whole perspective has shifted my mindset. Issues that I might have had a meltdown over or freaked out over are trivial for me now. You know, just this whole year. And it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be upset. You know, I'm not saying just toxic positivity, be happy through it all. No, I'm just saying, like, find the joy where you can. Find the happiness where you can. If you can have a positive outlook, that's better, for me anyway, than dwelling on something. Like, if I was gone tomorrow, I wouldn't want to dwell on my SAD, for example, I guess, you know, like, it's to find and shift perspective. What positive glimmers can you glean from a situation? Is there a positive side that could help? And of course, by no means am I like supporting toxic positivity. No, it's important to acknowledge the hurt. It's important to acknowledge the pain, the sadness, whatever emotions you're feeling and going through. But if you can find a positive side, having that perspective shift might help. It's like a candle in the dark, you know? It's like the Hermit card. You might not be able to see everything around you, but you are focused on what's in front of you. I hope that makes some sort of sense. But my hubby and I call it like living the Luna way, the way of the Luna, you know, just being happy where you can. So I've definitely been embracing Luna's energy. That's how I'm helping, you know, that's what's helping me get over the grief. Because, man, does it hurt. So let's move on to something a little more positive. Let's talk about my magical practice and the skills, lessons, and experiences there. So I started learning the Ogham this year. I haven't learned as much as I liked, but it's a good start. So, you know, I'm learning the Ogham through working through the Celtic tree calendar that was created by Robert Graves. This isn't an ancient system or anything like that. It's relatively new as far as druidry and occult things go. So it's a newer concept, but I do like working with the Celtic tree calendar. It allows me to acknowledge the cycle and energy of that tree and that tree's season. And right now we're transitioning from ivy into reed, I believe. And I'm not fully done going through the Celtic tree calendar. I started in March with, oh geez, what was the tree in that season? Alder, that was the tree. It took me a minute, but I figured it out. So I started in March, I believe. I think it was March or April. Around that time, it was the alder tree. I think the name for it is Fern. I might be mistaken. Like I said, I'm still relatively new to the Celtic tree calendar and learning about the Ogham and the trees. I haven't really used the Ogham for divination because I want to learn through living through them first before I incorporate that into my divinatory practice. So, you know, learning the meanings through the lessons I learned through that cycle of the tree calendar and learning what the tree, you know, how it grows, the symbolism, the correspondences, the lore, the folklore is a big one. So that's how I'm learning the Celtic trees. And I'm also, at the same time, learning the runes. And I guess I like to dabble in a lot. I'm a Gemini, so I like to have my finger in all the pies. So I feel drawn to the runes. There's something that's calling me to them. I haven't quite figured out what that is. My mentor is teaching me about satyr practice and Nordic witchcraft, things like that. I don't want to say too much about that right now, so I'm just trying to be brief there until I really start to get my footing in this path, in this practice. Every year I have the tradition of like learning a new divination system, and I did a really easy one this year. I did the ink scrying. That was a lot of fun. I showed you guys that in a previous video, but it's definitely different. I really enjoy doing it through paper. I have a lot of experience to learn still with the whole ink in the glass situation, but you know, the ink scrying has been fun. Something different, something new. I like to challenge myself through learning new divinatory systems. Come on out. It's okay. And the dogs are out. Sorry if you see a poop or a pee behind you. I can't help that. They're gonna zoom, they're gonna bark. But I was just, hubby's out here too, if you want to say hello.
Hello.
I was just telling everyone that I didn't do as much in my magical practice this year because of grief.
Yes.
Of losing Luna. And that's okay. Sometimes life has to take the front burner, and it's okay for the magical practice to be on the back burner. I did try to, you know, work through my magical practice when I could, when I felt like I had the energy and the spoons to do that, but some days, you know, are worse than others. Some days I have perfect energy, I'm good to go. Other days, I don't want to get out of bed, but I make myself do that at least. It just all depends. So, you know, there's a lot that I wanted to do. It couldn't happen. That's okay. Life happens. I really had this dream of a big, elaborate, beautiful, magical garden, and that didn't happen. 90% of the seeds that I planted died. I was not mentally ready to do what I wanted to do, you know? I had to work through my grief. I'm still working through my grief. This is going to be a lifelong process. I kind of view grief like a jar, right? And you have a ball in a jar. Now, instead of that grief shrinking, I don't view it that way. I view it as my jar expanding around the grief. We grow, in my opinion, around our grief. The grief doesn't go away, it doesn't shrink. It's just how we grow. So, you know, I took this time and didn't do as much magically because I've allowed my jar to grow around my grief. So, yeah. So, like, I'm sorry things aren't, like, super exciting. Like, wow, I did this, I did that. I did what I could, and that's okay. There's magic in healing. There's magic in the mundane. There's magic in the subtleties of life. So, yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to say, actually. I don't want to, like, ramble your ear off, so we're going to stop it here. Thank you all so much for hanging out, for listening to me ramble, and if you haven't already, go on over, check out the amazing, magical, and talented content creators that are taking part in this challenge. I can't believe it's almost over. I'm really sad about that, but, you know, there's a playlist. Check it out. Check out everyone participating, because everyone's practice is different. The lessons, skills, experiences that everyone reaps is going to be different. So check out everyone else's videos and their perspectives. And I will see you tomorrow for the last day. I can't believe it. Oh, it's going by. Anyway, I'll see you again tomorrow. We're going to talk about new dreams, new goals, new aspirations, the witch's new year that is Samhain. So happy Samhain Eve. Until next time, friends, stay wild and whimsical.